What is up, guys, and welcome to another edition of Market Marauders. Beat the market one trade at a time. If you're new to Market Marauders, investment channel helps you to find the best deals in the market. All right, so I'm going to jump into some stock news today. A lot of things going on in the market as a whole. So let's jump into it. So first, I want to talk about what Amazon released yesterday. They basically said that they're going to jump into the pharmacy business and have free delivery for the Prime members. So basically, there's nothing that Amazon can't do at this point in time. Amazon is making its biggest move yet into the pharmacy space. Amazon Pharmacy is designed to make it easy and convenient to order prescription medicines online. This also There's also a savings and a free 2-day shipping for Prime members. I think this is a huge move for Amazon. Definitely its most risky venture, and the market definitely reflected this power move, in my opinion, by Amazon. Now, you still have companies like CVS, Walgreens, you got Walmart, Publix, all those different places that actually fulfill prescriptions. But Amazon being one of the world's largest retailers, this definitely is a stiff competition for a lot of those other places, especially considering Amazon doesn't really have to rely on a physical location to distribute this. They can just go and distribute it from their warehouses, which is a huge advantage for companies like CVS and Walgreens, which have been struggling to get people back into their stores since the pandemic started. So Amazon is entering the pharmacy business with a new offering called Amazon Pharmacy, allowing customers in the United States to order prescription medications for home delivery, including free delivery for Amazon Prime members. Amazon has been quietly building out its pharmacy offering for several years after ramping up internal discussions in 2017 and acquiring FailPack in 2018. The pharmacy space is notoriously complex and competitive in the U.S., and Amazon Pharmacy is built in part on pill packs infrastructure, including its pharmacy software, fulfillment centers, and relationships with health plans. So they're not really doing this alone. They're kind of going to an expert who basically has already started something and then moving from there. Amazon Pharmacy announced Tuesday that its company's biggest push yet into $300 billion market, and threatens to the dominance of traditional pharmacies like CVS and Walgreens and other retailers that offer pharmacy services like Walmart. So, like I said earlier, definitely a very competitive move by Amazon, and I'm interested to see how this affects not only the stock price of the company, but its earnings and how much money and revenue they're actually going to be getting now they're moving towards this whole pharmacy section. So in other stock news, today Boeing announced that they got approval for their 737 MAX to fly passengers again. So this is a huge move for Boeing. If you know Boeing, for probably the last 20 months, has been grounded. Their 737 MAX had software issues, amongst a whole bunch of other different things. But software was kind of the main key. This happened before the pandemic started. Boeing was kind of struggling. They got a new CEO in the time, and then they got help from the bailout. So the original, I think it was Heroes Act, helped Boeing out. They were able to, basically stay afloat. So I think this is huge news for the company. I know there were a lot of different airline industries that were grounding their 737 Maxes and had a lot of 737 Maxes, like Southwest and American Airlines, that couldn't fly them because of this issue. This issue has been fixed, and the FAA has cleared it. I think we're going to start to slowly see a rise in the airline industry as a whole. So, in my opinion, I think now is probably a pretty good time to jump into that, because with the, two vaccine candidates on the horizon, set to potentially get FDA approval. That's the one catalyst that I think the airlines is waiting for, as well as widespread testing. And then the whole issue with the 737 Max. To me, that's kind of the triple threat of catalyst for the airlines industry. And I think once those three things are solved, then we can definitely see the airline industry come back with authority, basically. So definitely a huge move for Boeing, being one of the main suppliers of aviation vehicles for these different airlines, and definitely going to see, in my personal opinion, a boom for the whole aviation market as a whole. Now going into technology, we have AMD. So AMD has recently released their Radeon RX 6800 XT and RX 6800. So let's go read some of this. As 2020 draws closer, the matter of which new $500 plus GPU is better has become a moot for most prospective PC gamers. Nvidia has or had to go at its starting in September with the impressive RTX 3000 series, offering on-paper value that blew the RTX 2000 series straight into obsolete. So if you're a PC gamer, you know the difference between the two. For me, I'm in the process of trying to build a PC. Still have not been able to afford it. Hopefully, once this channel is able to be monetized, I will be able to build my new PC setup and have better quality videos for the channel. But if you all want to donate, you can donate. I have a thing down below where you can donate, help that build out. But I'll try to build it as slowly as possible. Got the case already. So I'm definitely a PC person. I play a couple of PC games. One that I played was Rocket League. Then I had Warzone that I played for a little while, but just got busy with YouTube and didn't really play too much more. I was waiting to finish building my PC in order to jump back into some gaming. So it says with no clear indication that AMD will handle Radeon RX 6800, which is $579, and Radeon RX 6800 XT, $649. Suppliers any better than Nvidia and its RTX 3000 series, and verdicts it's a bit wacky. So drop a comment down below. Tell me what you guys prefer. I know with the Xbox Series X being out, the PS5 being out, do you all think PC gaming is better than Xbox or PS5, or does it really not matter to you all? And me personally, I think PC gaming definitely is the future and the way to go because you can build your own specs, you can customize it, you can make it run faster. And with what I witnessed with Warzone is that they have cross-platform, so there's no real advantage of having one system over the other when you have PC cross-platforming, because when I was playing Warzone, I was playing with people who had Xbox and people who had PS4. So there was no real advantage to that. And I think if, more games start to integrate that, then I think PC is definitely a way to go because, you can basically build a beefy machine that can blow some of these consoles out of the water, in my opinion. So going into Twitter, Twitter has released a new function called Fleets. So I do have a Twitter account. It'll be down in the description below as well. But I have not used this feature, Fleets. I've heard about it. It seems like the trend now is going into, if there's something out there, other social medias are trying to copy it. So basically, it all started, in my opinion, around the whole TikTok thing. So when TikTok came out, people were like, Instagram, YouTube, and all these other social media platforms kind of woke up and were like, oh, well, more people are using this app that just came out. What can we do to try to get people to use our app? So you saw Instagram come out with the Reels. Now Twitter's coming out with the Fleets, which is basically the same thing as Snapchat. And then you have Snapchat itself, which stayed the same. So it's all, in my opinion, a competition for people's attention. When you have more people on a platform, it increases the chance of having ad revenue. So when you have ads, more people are more likely to buy things. And the more users you have, the more easier it is to get ad revenue from a business standpoint. So I see what they're trying to do with it, but there's been a lot of controversy going on with Twitter. And I know a lot of people have left the platform because of the whole censorship thing going on, where they censor some people's tweets and the whole freedom of speech thing. So I think this Fleets thing was kind of a distraction to try to shed light on or I guess put less of a spotlight on the fact that they were censoring a lot of people's tweets, throughout the election and throughout time in general. So we'll see how Fleets goes, but I don't think it's going to boost the stock price. In my personal opinion, I think they're going to have to find something a little better for users. But I will definitely try it out to see how it works, and I may give an update on it to see if it's actually worth anybody's time to use it. So going into Nvidia, they had their earnings. So their earnings is Wednesday the 18th, which is today. So they had a record revenue of 4.73 billion, which is up 57% from the year earlier. Record gaming revenue of 2.27 billion, up 37% from the previous year, and record data center revenue of 1.90 billion, up 162% from the previous year. So they basically, blew these metrics out of the water. The record revenue, 4.73 billion. I definitely believe that. I believe that Nvidia has made a lot of smart strategic moves to place themselves as one of the leaders of technology in the United States and abroad. So, they have partnerships. I think people think it's just, PC stuff or, data center or gaming, but they actually have like deals with like Kia and Hyundai Genesis and all those different companies that have AI systems in their vehicles for infotainment. So there's a lot of things that Nvidia actually does that helps the company. It helps the brand, and they've also acquired a lot of different other companies along the way to help with their technology. So I think Nvidia is here to stay. Definitely, going to see them continue to rally up. In my personal opinion, if it's down, to say buy the dip. People say buy the dip because I think Nvidia is definitely going to be one of the leading competitors. Them and AMD, in my opinion, are the two, I guess, for hardware technology companies that I would look at besides Apple. So Apple is kind of its own beast, so I couldn't compare it to like Nvidia or AMD. But I would say Nvidia and AMD are closer together than Apple is to them. But definitely look for more updates on Nvidia, and I think this is good news for the company as a whole. Now, one of the things that I've seen or started to see in the news is that there have been more lockdowns, or I guess more stay-at-home orders that to me are leading to lockdowns issued throughout the United States. So Los Angeles or LA or California, whichever one you want to say, is starting to issue a stay-at-home order. It's getting really weird because I've seen some of the cases where like politicians are not staying at home and are just going out and doing regular business, but they're issuing stay-at-home orders. So it's kind of weird. I think the governor of California actually apologized because he was caught going to like a gala or something. But I would say whatever state you live in, just make sure you follow the rules of that state. This is not telling you to go out and do anything crazy, but I'm just saying, depending on what state you're in, you'll have different curfews and stay-at-home orders. That it seemed to be an increase based on the amount of cases. So it seems like the cases are going up, and the stay-at-home orders are starting to increase. I know Michigan ordered one as well because they had a rise in cases. In my personal opinion, I think this may be the last wave of these curfews and stay-at-home orders because you have 2 vaccine candidates that are coming out, and then you have increased testing as well. So I think once the vaccine comes out, people are going to be, I guess, less cautious or less worried to stay at home because they're like, well, I can just take a vaccine and that be that. So, I think the vaccine is going to be looked at as a viable solution for a lot of people to actually go about living their lives normally. So, going into another one, the FDA today, so this came out recently, has approved a at-home self-testing kit. So now you don't have to go to drive-in and have your brain probed. You can do it at home. So it's called the Lucera. I think that's how I'm pronouncing that correctly. Lucera um, all-in-one test kit is a molecular single-use test, and it's expected to cost $50 or less on the company's website, and the FDA approved it. So I think this is a good path forward for the United States as a whole, because there have been, a lot of people don't want to go and get tested or constantly get tested. If you have something where you can do it at home, get the results, I think that will help out tremendously, especially, considering working situations, or if you want to test your kids or you want to test yourself, or you go to a function with, friends or something, and you just don't feel right and you want to test yourself. I think, that's a good, this is a good path forward. So it says the test works by swirling a self-collected swab sample in a vial, which then is placed in a handheld test unit. Can provide results within 30 minutes or less, according to the agency. The unit's light up display shows whether the person is positive or negative. So I think it's pretty cool. $50 isn't that much, especially when you're considering your health. I'm interested to see. I haven't looked at the website, but I'm interested to see what plans they have to actually have people's insurance cover this. Because I know a lot of people, $50 may be a lot of money for some households, especially considering it's a one test, single use. You can't test your whole family. So if it's you, your wife, you got two kids, you're shelling out $200 to get your whole family tested. So it may not be a viable solution for most households, especially considering we still don't have a stimulus. But for those who can afford it, I think it's a pretty good solution to mitigate the spread of the pandemic. But you know, hopefully they'll have an insurance option on here that you can get this subsidized, or a coupon. I know Good RX, which just recently went public this year, has a lot of coupons for medicines out there, so you may want to check that out. Especially, considering it's something that you yourself are taking responsibility to help mitigate the spread of this. I think all companies are probably rallying to try to have this as a viable resource for people moving forward. So lastly, I want to talk about the EV space. So the EV space is just red hot. It seems like every day there's a new EV company that's popping up out of nowhere. And Arrival becomes the latest company. So a company named Arrival, which is a UK-based company, is going to be going public through a merger with CIGG Merger Company. So similar to with VTIQ and Nikola, they had a merger, and the list goes on. A bunch of these companies had merger companies. Helion, before it became Helion, had a merger company that they merged with to go public. So this one, though, I think is very interesting. So the UK-based company, which operated in relative secrecy for several years until January, when it announced $110 million investment from Hyundai and Kia, said Wednesday it agreed to merge with Special Purpose Acquisition Company, CIGG, and that is actually the ticker, and it is on Robinhood. So if you want to look at it on Robinhood, it's on there. If you want to sign up for Robinhood or Webull, I have a link down below for that as well, where you can sign up and start trading CIGG. But the Arrival was already considered one of UK's most valuable startups. Wednesday's SPAC merger announcement. This deal, which when completed, will make Arrival a publicly traded company listed on the Nasdaq exchange, will push its valuation up to $5.4 billion. Arrival said it raised $400 million in private investment in public equity, or PIPE, from investors that included Fidelity Management and Research Company, Wellington Management, BNP, Paribas Asset Management, Energy Transition Fund, and funds managed by BlackRock. Arrival will have about $660 million in cash. But the interesting part that I thought about this, it says, and this is from the CEO. It says, "We are building a strong order book for these products, including 10,000 electric vans from UPS, with an additional option to order more thereafter. So they are actively converting the UPS vans to electric. So I think that's pretty cool that this company is involved with that. If you want to look at a company that's similar to doing this, or had a deal similar to this, look at Workhorse. Workhorse had on the table a potential deal with USPS, so not UPS, but the United States Postal Service, to potentially convert their vans to electric. The deal kind of got washed out, but I think it's going to be back on the table, especially with the Biden presidency. But just look how high that stock has fluctuated. I think a lot of people are holding that in anticipation that that deal will be brought back on the table and that it will go out. So definitely with the momentum of that one, I would definitely compare it to this one. But this one already has confirmed orders from UPS. So UPS is a lot different than most companies. So with FedEx, they're all privately contracted individuals. So at FedEx, each individual route is contracted by somebody else. So there's not really many regulations on vans. So converting the vans to electric would be a lot harder since there's so many individual contractors with FedEx, opposed to UPS, which is union. So when UPS says, "Hey, we want to convert our things to electric," it's the entire fleet. So there are a lot of it'll be a gradual thing over time, but essentially it'll be a large amount of orders and a large amount of money in different amounts at different variable times. So I think that's pretty good for this company to come out of the gate saying that they have a deal with UPS. I think it speaks volumes for the company, especially to have a company like UPS invest so much money into these vehicles, because I'm pretty sure they're not cheap, to help with the zero emissions initiative. Also with USPS and Workhorse, I think if we start to see these electric vehicles come out, definitely look for more of them on the roads. I think a company like this will definitely be poised to have more deals in the future. All right, so good luck to everybody out there trading this week. That's been the stock news. I hope everybody's having a good week of trading, able to lock in some profits. Make sure you all go look at Tesla. Tesla's been doing crazy this week. I was able to lock in some Tesla call options, so I was happy about that. Make sure you go look at Zoom as well. Zoom's been doing crazy. DraftKings has been doing pretty crazy. But make sure you go check those out. Drop a comment down below. Tell me what stocks you guys are looking at this week. Make sure you hit that thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.